But the disease has increased in Indonesia in a week by 50,000 cases. It has spread to 22 of the archipelago nation's 37 provinces. Does that frighten the tripe out of anyone in the Australian government? The sadness for animal lovers lies with the fact that all animals infected on Bali have been killed. All our Agriculture Minister can say is that biosecurity would be ramped up at airports. Would be. That Indonesia will get $5 million to buy and distribute vaccines. I said on Thursday that tourists from Indonesia should not be allowed into Australia, and tourists out of Australia should not be allowed into Indonesia. But all we're told is that more biosecurity officers and detector dogs will be deployed at Australian airports. Not are deployed, will be. This is nowhere near good enough. On top, by the way, of foot and mouth disease, there is the prospect of lumpy skin disease entering the country, also likely to make its way from Indonesia because it can be carried by biting insects such as mosquitoes and could spread across the Indonesian archipelago into Papua New Guinea, Torres Strait, Northern Australia. Lumpy skin disease can also cause significant production losses in beef and dairy cattle and spreads easily through herds, and it has spread rapidly through Asia over the past 3 years. Now, we have for years been a disease-free nation, but Canberra, on both these issues, is asleep at the wheel. Senator Watt, the Agriculture Minister, was gung-ho on closing the borders over COVID. Suddenly he's silent on the issue, or worse, oppositional to it in relation to foot and mouth disease. Or will he want to say that this is also something they've inherited from the previous government? The choices are simple: ban travel to Indonesia or impose a period of quarantine for travellers returning from Indonesia, not just to avoid the economic loss of billions of dollars, but to avoid the suffering and cruel death of millions of hoofed animals if it were to happen. But listen to this. As proof that this issue, or on this issue, the government is all talk and no action, or to use the language of the bush, all hat and no cattle, consider this. I spoke about this last Thursday night. I ended by saying that two questions need to be asked and answered. Should Australians wanting to return from Bali be allowed back into the country? And should Australians wanting to go to Bali be told they can't? Well, since those comments, there have been 67 direct flights from Bali to Australia. 17 to Sydney, 16 to Melbourne, 4 to Adelaide, 10 to Brisbane, 4 to the Gold Coast, 8 to Perth, 4 to Darwin and 4 to Cairns. My information is that Cairns receives 1,400 people from Bali each week and Brisbane 23,000 each month. That works out at 200 a day to Cairns and 770 a day to Brisbane. Average this out over all Australian destinations, and roughly 4,600 travellers have come from Bali to Australia since I spoke last Thursday. Can the Albanese government and its Minister Murray Watt guarantee that none of those travellers were bearers of foot and mouth disease? I've no doubt they can't. In which case Murray Watt, the Minister, should resign and give the gig to someone who'll do the job.